Hey guys, it's Lisa Jones.
I'm Goldyn Duffy, ready to go.
We are the Real Ones, and we are here today. We're going to do a Facebook Live, but we know that you are here with us because you're either on YouTube or the podcast. So thank you for being here.
And we love you guys. You guys are committed ones. You guys are the ones who are following us, and you guys are the ones that are not going to have any issue if we decide to leave Facebook. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Ooh, and we are on fire today.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to talk about all the new stuff that we've been experiencing.
Happening. Yes.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And we're going to give you, I feel like we should give them a little bonus right now before we go live.
Yeah, what are we doing? What do you want to do?
I love that. Let's just tell them real quick what we did before we came on. We're doing this new breathing technique. Why don't you explain it while I'm fiddling around here with the Facebook.
So we're doing this thing with Joe Dispenza. If you have not heard of him, please check him out because he is absolutely amazing. And so he teaches a breathing technique, which is basically where you start to squeeze from the bottom of your body and you squeeze up and you suck in as you're squeezing up and you squeeze your ab muscles, and then you go all the way up until the breath is all the way up into the top of your head and you hold it. And I'm going to say he holds for a good, 10 or 15 seconds. I have to count it to see how long because it's way past where I've liked to be.
Oh, yeah.
So then when I let go, I'm like my whole body, first of all, when I'm doing this, my cells are just like vibrating. Like I can feel the cells in my body activating. I can feel all energy that was stuck. And this is the point of it, is you get the energy that's stuck in the bottom of your body, which is your survival centers. Those are your root chakras, your creative center, and your solar plexus. When we get stuck in the survival centers, we tend to act from fear and anxiety and desperation. So this pulls the energy up and out so you don't get any stuck energy in your body. And I was doing this all day yesterday, and I have had a lot of issues with my neck, my lower back. Like I've just had a lot of pain in my body. And I was literally I kept moving it out. And it was so interesting and how present I felt all day from just taking a few seconds to do that. Like,
wow, that's an awesome tip. That is so cool.
And my meditations are so deep now. Like I can't even explain it. Like they're beyond anything I've ever experienced. I've been meditating for like 25 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. And I think it's because you're getting in your body more, by doing these before you meditate, you do this deep breathing, which is amazing.
Yeah. It really helps you get out of those thought patterns. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, cool. I'm going to hit the go live button and then we are going to be on Facebook.
Let's go. So thirsty today.
Okay, it says you're now streaming live on Facebook. Hey guys, it's Lisa Jones and
Goldyn Duffy,
the Real Ones, and we are on fire today. And we are talking more about Joe Dispenza and just all the amazing breakthroughs and experiences that we're having with him. So
yeah, so Abraham Hicks has a saying: "The better it gets, the better it gets," and I definitely am feeling the trajectory of that statement.
Absolutely. That's for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about how our beliefs have changed since we started studying Joe's work.
Okay.
Do you want to touch on that a little bit? And then I'm going to share what I want to say.
Yeah. Well, I would say, again, it's so funny. It's so interesting because it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that you stumbled upon a book that somebody was giving away you were like at somebody's house and they had a box of giveaways, right? And one of them was this.
Yeah, it was next to the pool. It was just a random box.
Yeah, a random box. To the pool. And I'm trying to remember if, so the same day I found some stuff from Dodson, which I had not heard before, which was the levels of energy. And then also another book from my other favorite teacher, which is Hawkins, which I'm looking at my book over there. And so I feel like simultaneously on the same day, we both got reconnected to teachers that we had studied. Had you studied with Joe before or no? No.
Shockingly, no. I'm not sure where Joe has been all my life.
That is so funny. So anyway, so we were sharing and super giddy about this stuff that kind of fell into our laps on the same day. And then because you shared about Joe, I'm like, wait a minute. I think I have a program that I bought from him 2 years ago that I had not listened to before. So that prompted me to listen to that. And then you and I have just been going back and forth and sharing all the information that we've been learning, because since the program I bought, he's up leveled again to some new information, which we shared actually at the beginning of this video. So you have to go to YouTube or sign up and subscribe to our podcast to
Get
hear
over
that.
there. Get over there.
We share a really great nugget of information about how to up your vibe before you meditate. So anyway, yeah, it's just been amazing. And we've just had all these amazing synchronicities and experiences. And yeah, it just blows us away. And so what did you want to say about
Yeah. So, Lisa and I have been doing sessions with people for a long time. I've probably done hundreds of energy healing sessions with people and energy healing for myself. And what I'm realizing, what we're realizing through this Joe work, and because he goes in such in-depth, and you may not be interested in this stuff. That's the other thing. Like, Mike was like, don't shove this down people's throats, because Lisa and I, we could just come from a different place. We've done a lot of studying. We've done a lot of application in our own lives. So we're ready for this stuff. I was talking to my friend Terry, who's just kind of like stepping into this law of attraction stuff. And she's like, yeah, I tried to listen to him. It's just, I don't like it. And I like science. I'm just really into the science of this stuff because I like proof. So when you listen to him, if he doesn't resonate, then drop it. Like, it's not where you're supposed to be. And I feel like one of our, really awesome responsibilities, I guess you'd call it, is for us to really simplify this stuff so that if Joe is too much for you, you can really understand it from how we're simplifying it. So it's not like we're stealing his work or we're, but it's all information that's all in the field. So if we take it and we, mold it and make it really, really easy for you to understand.
Accessible. Yeah. For some people, it's not accessible.
It's not like digestible, it kind of gets like stuck because, the logical mind it's just not ready for it. So anyways, the biggest thing that I've learned from this is about emotions. And my feeling before this was that emotions needed to be dealt with. They needed to be felt. They needed to be dealt with. They needed to be handled. They needed to be released. It was this whole job of,
right. You got to feel it to heal it.
And I've worked with so many people, and one of the frustrations of people that I've worked with over the course of, I had a woman I worked with for 3 years, was that there were so many layers, that there was this constant unlayering, and we're just onions and we got to keep peeling back the layers. And that's just frustrating because you feel like you never get there, right? You're like, oh, this again, really? Right? You say that all the time. This again?
I know. Yeah. Because I did a whole lot of inner child work, and I just kept coming back to the same pain point over and over and over. And then this past weekend, I had a huge epiphany that I think has finally allowed me to drop that pain point.
And I hope you will share that, because that was amazing. Yeah. So the biggest thing about emotions is that they are an addiction. They're an addiction in our body because they release certain hormones. So as soon as we allow ourselves to go into that emotional field, and as soon as we allow ourselves to start to feel that way, then these hormones get triggered, and we're addicted to that hormone system and that neural loop. He says neurons that fire together wire together. So that's how law of attraction works. Like, if you've ever done study of that, is like, once you think a thought, then it comes, another thought comes, but it's really the hormones that are triggering this neural loop. So as you do that, then you feel more, and then you get upset, and then you go down the emotional scale, right? Until you get to the point where you're like depressed and you don't know why, and you can't get out of it, right? So what he's saying is emotions are an addiction. So every time now that I start to go down a thought pattern that doesn't, and I don't even get to the point where I'm feeling it right now. I'm just like, oh no, nope. Like, nope. Because if I don't fire that initial thought that triggers that emotion, then I don't go into that field. I don't go into that loop. And then I'm actually in a higher vibration because I have put my, I've kind of put it away. I'm like, I don't need to do that. That's not where I want to be. That's not what I want to experience. And it really becomes that you become a deliberate creator more than you ever have before. Because, it's like people say, well, I feel the way I feel. I can't help the way I feel. That's bullshit. I'm realizing it's bullshit.
Which again, which we always kind of had a hang up with Abraham,
Yes.
Because she's always like, you know, if you go down the road of not feeling good and you just keep feeding that, then you're going to attract more not feeling good. And I was of the school, and I think you were too, that it's like, well, no, but you got to feel it to heal it. And you got to, like, you do have to, you know, let those energy bombs come out of your body and all that stuff. But those energy bombs are actually the addiction of the hormones that you release the minute that you reactivate an old feeling.
Completely.
And so that's why, and so they're never ending. You will never finish,
no.
you know, getting those emotional bombs out of you, because you just keep releasing new hormones when you go down that road. I just want to say, Tara says, Goldyn, your hair looks particularly fabulous. The color is on point, looking good. Ha ha ha, looks a sight. Also enjoying you guys and what you're talking about. So awesome.
I wore this yellow shirt today. I've never worn this yellow shirt before because I was always like, it's too bright, but this is exactly how I feel today. I feel beautiful. So lit up.
Yeah.
And so just ready for, like, I'm just excited about everything that's coming.
That is so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, and I love too that, so his newest meditation, where you basically, that's the part of it, is getting outside of ourselves. Like we become this kind of trapped animal in our body, and our body like really is propelling us through this lifetime, rather than, you know, using our mind to tap into this grid. And that's the ultimate, what does he call it? The
field. It's the field, the quantum field.
Yeah. The endless potential of the quantum field. And so I just love the whole idea that your thoughts, you know, create the emotions, and then the emotions, you know, create. And so if you can put yourself at that elevated level, get out of your body and into the field, then any possibility is out there for you. And that's when you tap into it. And we've had some amazing just ideas come to us through this, you know, getting outside of our minds, because, you know, we can only think what we've thought before. And that's a big part of this whole idea with Joe, is that you can only create from the past unless you get out of yourself and tap into the field.
And that's what emotions are. They're creating from the past. Anytime you are in an emotional state, you are creating from the past, because you wouldn't feel emotions unless you were being triggered from something that happened in the past. I mean, it's just so brilliant. And he says, and this was really interesting for me, if you go into meditation and you don't come out in a different state, you didn't do anything. And for the longest time, you know, we would tell people in my M21 group when we were teaching meditation, don't judge your meditation. Just, you know, and this is beginners, of course. Yeah, just go in and just do it. But this is another level. It's like, if you want to create real change, you have to create an elevated emotion in order to create in the field. Mm-hmm. So he talks about the visualization and really feeling yourself into things, and how when you feel yourself, you're actually bringing that wave back to you. So it creates that, you know, that law of attraction that they talk about, that quantum wave. You become less matter and more energy. And I love that. It's like, whenever I see like overweight people or heavy people, or people who are like, you can just look at their face and you can tell that they're really in their head, they're just dense. And so when you're in the fear and you're in the anxiety and you're in the desperation of life, you are more matter than energy, and you don't have the potential to create all these possibilities. You still will. Like, it still happens for people no matter what, but this is way more fun to create.
I love it too, because he says you're more particle and less wave. And I love that, because when you're more particle, you're that, you know, density, you're just, you know, being like a bump on a log. Whereas if you're the wave, you can feel the difference of those two words, you know? And so I think
it's incredible. And if you start to work in that field of your thoughts and really getting conscious and aware, and I just think that you have so much more power. You have so much more power when you're in this state. And I've never run to my meditation practice. Like, I'm doing 2 hours a day. I've never done that. Wow. I'm doing it in the morning, and then I'm doing it again in the afternoon, because I just want to be in that state. It feels so good. And I know most people don't have time to do that, but shit, you can get up early, right?
Well, hey, I do it right before. Last night I did an hour meditation. And again, I'm not sure, I might have, you know, drifted off a little during it, but I mean, I had the headphones on, so it's going in. I mean, he's talking through it. So I feel like,
Yeah,
even
your
if I
subconscious doesn't need you to be conscious.
yeah, exactly. But it was great because it, like, you know, there were times that I definitely was like, oh my gosh, he's like, now come back as a, you know, as a new you, how are you feeling? And, you know, change it now. And it's just like, wow, it really got me. And then my dreams are amazing. And I can feel it shifting and sifting out old particles and, you know, bringing in new waves. So yeah, I'll share my epiphany, which was really powerful.
So amazing.
And so, yeah, so I did this inner child work for a year, and the pain point, no matter what was happening in my life currently, if I worked with my therapist, it would always come back to when I was born. At that time, they didn't think that, because I was adopted, they didn't feel it was healthy to have the birth mother hold the baby because it would, you know, create attachment or whatever. So as soon as I was born, they whisked me out of the room and put me somewhere for like 2 weeks.
That's insanity.
2 to 3 weeks. I know. And
how many mothers would have kept their baby?
I know. It's so sad, the whole thing. And I feel so much. I mean, I am so grateful to my mom, my birth mom, Debbie, who gave me away, because she really, first of all, there was really no option back in 1966. That was just the way it was. She was a minister's daughter, to top it off. And it was just, she said it was almost like there was just, she was talking about waves. She was in this just like, this is what's happening. You know, it was just like, she was just told this is what's happening. It wasn't really, other than her parents offered to raise me, but that, you know, that wasn't what she wanted. She wanted a better life for me. And so she thought and so I give her so much gratitude. And as a 4-year-old, I used to tell my adoptive mom, I said, well, you know, this was God's plan, because you couldn't have a baby. So another mama had to have me. So you could be my mom, you know, and it just,
you already knew that. You already knew that.
Yep. So anyway, so like I said, I did all this work, and it would always bring me back to that 2 weeks. Like, where was I during those 2 weeks and what was happening? But I kind of came at it from this other way. I was driving down to the beach. This was just 2 days ago. And right now, so what's happening right now in my life is that I'm not dating anybody, but I'm, you know, constantly, I find myself scanning, like looking at every man driving by, walking by, running by, biking by.
I'm wondering if anybody can relate to this.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone can relate to it. If you do, give me a thumbs up or something, because I feel like I'm this crazy woman, like, you know, searching for that person. And I was like thinking, like, are they the one? Are they the one? And then I'm like, whoa. And this is where the meditation changed my thinking, right? Because I'm like, why do I think that? What is that about? And it immediately brought me back to that 2-week period where I was in that nursery or wherever. And as a baby, anytime somebody walked into that room, I'm like, oh my God, are you the one that's going to save me? Are you the one that's going to pick me up? Are you the one that's going to feed me? Because I didn't have a nurturing, loving, constant mama at that time, or daddy at that time. Right. And it just, I mean, I had a wave go through my body that it just was like a pile of bricks or something landed on me. And I had this energy just shoot out of me. And I went, holy shit. And my poor dog almost jumped out of the car because it was just this big, huge realization. And so now, you know, hello, I'm a grown woman that can take care of herself. I'm financially independent. I don't need a man. I don't need anybody to save me. And just that knowingness that I just feel free now. I feel like I'm not desperately searching for, you know, the one or whatever.
And it's so funny because so now, you know, this is part of the things that I've been thinking about, like the things we think about that are not done yet, like the things that we're still desiring. We're actually creating that separation from it and that lack from it. And we're actually creating misery every single time we allow ourselves to do that, to scan, to go where it, because he's not here. So I have to look for him because he's not here. And the difference between that and really creating is being in the element of it's already done. Like I feel it. I don't have to look for him because I know he's already here. And then it's just a matter of that quantum leap, that, you know, that quantum field organizing it all. And whoo, I am just pumped to see going to happen.
I know. And it totally dovetails with the parallel lives, because I know in a parallel life right now, I am living with my, beloved, and we're just waiting for that, or, not waiting. We're just coming to that intersection where it's going to, I'm going to either step into that parallel life, or he's going to step into this one. And it's super exciting. And meanwhile, I can let go because there's nothing I need to do or want, or, keep myself from that, and just live my best life, which, holy cow, I am having so much fun just letting go and having
that's
fun.
The beauty of accessing the subconscious, like that stuff was deep within your subconscious.
Yeah.
And, even all the child, and the interesting thing is the work that you did, the inner child work that you did, when you do it from an element of like the problem. So this is the issue I have with talk therapy. When you're in the problem, you can't access solutions. So you can't actually access what was creating that, because you're too much in the creation, right? The past creation of the emotion. So once you let all that go, the other stuff could bubble to the surface and really show you, hey, this is what you've been experiencing. It's connected to this. This isn't happening to you anymore.
Right. No, that's exactly it. I know. I was like recreating. And again, when I was married, my God, that's why I am super loyal and so committed in a marriage, because I feel so safe and taken care of. Right. But now it's been this, the last 4 years, I've been on my own. So I'm just back to this kind of frantic, or I'm no longer.
Yep.
But
and it's all in the past. So then if any of these emotions show up, you can shift it very easily by just going, oh, I'm not creating the past. I'm no longer creating the past.
Exactly.
And just keep yourself in that element of excitement and trust that it's all happening. It's already done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's exciting to see what's happening. Yeah. So tell me, what's going on.
Friday, I have Fun Friday with my friends, and we went to the beach and just had a great day. And I was talking to my friends about, I have always wanted to drive up the PCH, like go through Santa Monica and Malibu and like go up that way. And we did that when the very first trip we ever came to California. That's what we did. We stayed in Santa Monica. We drove up through Malibu. We actually looked at a house that was $17,000 a month.
I remember that.
Yeah, we put on this big show. It was so fun. So that's like an awesome memory for me, where I'm like, oh, I want to do that again. So I'm talking to my friend, and we're talking about the fact that my husband won't do it because he doesn't want to go through LA. He just hates driving through LA. He worked there for a little while, and it's just, the traffic is crazy. So my friend says, well, we should do it. We should go on a Friday, and we can hop on the train, and we can go up, and we can have so much fun and this and that. So I'm like, yes, cool. So I'm going to go. Right. So I'm like getting excited that I'm going to go. Totally let it go. And it used to be that every weekend I want to do stuff, and Mike necessarily doesn't want to because he works so hard, and I'm home all the time and he's not. And so, but I've really let that go because I'm so in the moment. I don't care what I'm doing. I could stay home and have fun. Like, I'm not needing this. And it's so interesting. I don't need to shop. I don't need to drink alcohol. I don't need to do anything anymore. I'm just so satisfied, right? Just in the state of satisfaction. In fact, just a side note, stepped in cat shit twice this morning and was delighted both times because I was so happy that I didn't go to the gym with crap on my foot, and I was able to wash it off before I left the house.
There you go. That's fabulous.
And I'm like, you know what? Who says that stepping in cat shit isn't lucky? Why is it just cows that are lucky? So I went there. But anyways, that's like the vibe that I'm in right now. Like nothing is aggravating me. Nothing's frustrating me. I'm just completely in the element of life. So on Sunday, we wake up kind of early, and Mike's like, well, what do you want to do today? And I was like, well, we can go bike riding, but we both have been having like lower back issues. So he's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. So then he's like, well, let's just go for a drive. He goes, what if we went through a drive like through like Santa Monica? And I'm like, okay. Really? Are you for real? And the funny thing is, it was so foggy here. Like you could not see it, even in my yard. You couldn't see 3 feet in front of you. And I was thinking, oh, but it's really foggy. This might not be a great time to like go through the PCH if it's like, because the marine layer can be really dense where you can't see anything. And I was like, we'll just move it. we'll just move it. And we totally did. Like the sun followed us and just burned it off as we were going.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we ended up, he drove and drove and drove and drove. We had so much fun. We stopped on the side of the road by the PCH. If you've never been there, this was like Malibu. I think it was just past Malibu. It's just so gorgeous. Like it's breathtaking.
I got your Snapchat. That was cool.
Oh my God. So we stopped on the side of the road and then we ended up in Santa Barbara. We went to
I know. Yeah. You said you were having lunch. I'm like, what? How did you
for
get
those
there?
of you that don't know, I live in Orange County, like South Orange County, and Santa Barbara, we always thought was like 3 hours away and so far, but it only took us like 2 hours. There was no traffic yesterday.
Wow.
So,
yeah, because of the marine layer, everyone's like, oh, let's not go
right.
out because of the marine layer. Meanwhile, you're making it sunny the whole way.
It was fantastic. So we get up there and it was one of those days where the experience kept up leveling. Like you think you're happy, you think you're there, and then something happens and you're like, this can get better. So we go to this restaurant. So we finally land in Santa Barbara. We go to this restaurant and it was in the town. And I really wanted to have lunch by the water. We were right near the water. So I'm like, why are we having lunch in town? But I didn't say anything because we were really hungry. So I get up to the thing and the girl goes, oh, well, I have this table. And I said, it's in the sun. And she goes, oh, I'll bring an umbrella. And I was like, okay, cool. We're going to go to the bathroom. We'll be right back. We come back. She gave our table away. Really? So
what?
She goes, I have these two people. They're just about to get up. So we're waiting like 10 minutes, right? And so Mike gets on his phone because he's annoyed about it. And we end up finding a Blue Water Grill, which is our favorite restaurant. We've been to 3 different locations.
Wow.
Now. It's 5 minutes down the street, right? So he goes, let's get out of here. So we get in the car. They have no wait. He calls. They have no wait. We get in the car. We zoom over there. So cute. This pier. I mean, it was just so, if you've never been to Santa Barbara, I highly recommend it. It's just beautiful. So we go there. We get up to the top of this thing. It's like up 4 flights of stairs. We're overlooking the ocean.
Oh
I mean,
God.
and the food, I love their foods. The food's amazing. We're sharing just like how much we love life. And then then we finish our meal and that was like the best meal ever. And I had torn my tank top. So I had to go find a shirt. Cute little store that they screen print their own stuff, Lisa.
Wow.
Hint, yeah. So they were wonderful. I had so much fun with them. I got this really cute shirt and then we ended up walking to the pier. So we go over to the pier. There's more. There's all these kids skateboarding and they were so fantastic. Like just, oh my God, I have the chills. I have the chills right now because just in the element of flow and just, there's this one kid, he's got his hands in his pockets. He's got no shirt on, 6-pack, and he's just like cruising.
Wow.
And you're just like so in awe, right? So I think I'm at the top of my experience because we're so like into this and watching this and it's so fun. And we're on the beach and people are skateboarding. And all of a sudden, this cute little Mexican family comes over and this baby starts laughing hysterically at the skateboarders. And I'm like, I cannot believe this just got better.
Wow.
And so I start laughing and we have this moment with this cute little family of just hysterics over this baby. She laughed for like 10 minutes. It was
I love baby laughs. Those are the best.
It was so perfect. So then Mike, we walked down the pier and he was like, all right, I think it's time to go. It's getting kind of late. And I was like, great. Like normally I'd be like, oh, really? I was like, great. I'm so satisfied. So we get back to the car and we start driving and traffic is real bad. So Mike's like, I'm going to get off. So he gets off the highway. We get back on the PCH and he's like, I'm just going to pull over. Like we never put our feet in the water today. I was like, you're right. So we get out and there's a lady there and she's like, oh, you get down over here because you had to climb down these rocks. There's all these RVs. There's like probably 50 RVs lined up where people are camping, right?
Right.
Just so cool on the side of the road. So we go down, we walk down, and now the tide is so far out that we're like able to walk really far into the ocean, right? Like on the sand. All of a sudden, we see this pod of dolphins that lit me up. I have never experienced a wildlife experience like that in my life. There was like 20 of them. They were jumping. They were throwing their tails up. They were coming up together. It was like a show. And then we followed them all the way down the beach. Mike almost jumped in because they were so close to the edge. Like they were like 30 feet from us. I mean,
my goodness.
I was so, I mean, it was such an incredible experience. And then we ended the night at one of my favorite restaurants in Manhattan Beach with an incredible dinner and dessert. I was like, that day topped
Wow.
so much. And then of course Mike's like, we have to do this more. And I'm like, I've been telling you that for a long time.
You're like, oh, great idea.
But I let go.
Yeah.
I let go.
Yeah,
and I was
exactly.
satisfied with life. And so life gave me more reasons to feel satisfied.
That is so cool. And plus you were, you've been connecting to the grid. And so you're vibing up there. You're more wave than you are particle.
Exactly. And then you just start to see how it's like, oh my God, this really is my creation.
This is really right. It just kept getting better and better. And I loved it that you guys didn't hang around and wait. Like your table was given away. Hello, if the door closes, like walk out and, go for a new one.
Well, and that's what
Dion. Hey, Dion. She was laughing at something. I see my friend Peter. Hey, Peter. And anybody else here? Irene and Shauna. So, hey guys, nice to see you here.
Well, nice to see you. I can't see you. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, that's right.
I left Facebook, and I think that, and I didn't leave Facebook. My Facebook is still there, and you can still message me in Messenger. But
you stepped away.
Yeah, I did, and I think that has been really life-changing because I don't have that draw of energy. And I don't have the consideration of putting my life on social media, which has really, really brought me present. And that's why I was Snapchatting yesterday, not to take away from my present moment, but I want my family to see where I am and my friend, my really close-knit people. I want them to be able to enjoy the joy that I'm experiencing. But when the dolphins were jumping, there was no phones. In fact, I left my phone in the car.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so cool. Well, and I do. I mean, and Facebook is an addiction. I mean, as we all know. So it's wonderful to step away. And
it was bad. I went down 32% on my phone from which I feel like it should be more. But I've been watching Joe on my phone, so I think it's probably
it's probably taking over there. Yeah. So let me just see if anybody else has any more comments. Nope, no more comments. So that is amazing.
Get into this meditation and start recognizing. I think understanding the brain for me is a big thing in knowing how to disengage from things. So if I know that I've got these things that are firing and wiring, then I can kind of put it in my imagination and say, okay, I'm not going to fire that because I don't want to go into that. And we've had some really, really interesting things happening in our family with our grandbaby that have been extremely intense. And I'm not going to share that on the show, but I will say that if it wasn't for this Joe stuff, I think we would be in some serious fear right now. But because we're here, it's like we know that everything is working out for us, and none of us, not one single one of us, has any doubt that everything is going to work out. And it's especially when things look really bad, that's when they're about to make a big shift.
Oh yeah, I've got shivers. I've got chills saying that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I can't share that whole story, but it's not over. We're in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, that's it. And you got to be present just in the moment of that and let it unfold before you share anything. But that's the other thing about this is it does, like Joe got into this whole thing because he recreated his whole spinal column when he got into a really bad accident many years ago. And so that's the other side of this that is just so astonishing, is that you can really heal whatever is going on in your body. That, we create the physicality within us. And it reminds me so much of when my dad died, and then he came to me and he's like, oh my God, what I created in my outer life is what I created in my body, because he died of lack of circulation. And that's what he was doing with his money, is he was like hoarding it and trying to, keep it all in. And he just was like, oh my God. And so what did I do? Whatever you're creating out here, you're also creating within, and vice versa. It's kind of like a double. So, like he was particleizing his exterior world, and then all the stuff stopped flowing in his
Joe's story is amazing because he broke a bunch of vertebrae in his back, and the vertebrae was actually laying on his spine, and the doctors were begging him to do a rod surgery where they put a rod in your back, and he refused and he healed himself. So I just discovered that story, and I've been telling my gym friend about all of this Joe stuff, and he's 27 and he's really new to this stuff, but he knows that this is working because he's seeing me and he's seeing things happen in his own life. So yesterday he goes, or today he goes, yeah, so there's a documentary on that guy.
He's been searching.
No, he was surfing Netflix and it popped up. And he goes, I started watching it and I was like, oh my God, this is the guy Goldyn was talking about. So yeah, it's called Heal. I believe we're going to watch it tonight.
That's a great movie. That actually premiered here in Maui 3 years ago at the film festival. And I got to meet the director and the producer of the film. It's amazing.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we won't talk about Joe Dispenza forever, but for right now, he is the teacher that came. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will.
That's right. Yeah, so it's exciting for us to be able to connect together, Goldyn and I together, and then to share with you guys. And that's the whole point.
I've got a lot of people that are on this stuff right now. So
yeah.
It's kind of like we're sharing everything. My daughter said last night, I think I ran out of Joe YouTube today.
Oh my gosh, right.
I said, well, I'm doing the program all over again. I'm doing it a couple of times because that's the other thing he says, when you create new experiences, and you learn new things, you actually create new synapses in your brain. And this is a way to keep your brain young. Mm-hmm. Like I remember hearing tennis keeps your brain young, right? Because you're making that eye-hand coordination contact, but it really is about learning new things, but you also have to retain it. If you don't retain stuff, those new neurons actually disappear. Right. So in order to learn things, we have to listen to them over and over again. So
you up level every time you hear it, you're hearing something new that you didn't necessarily hear before because
this is true. Yeah. So what can you do in your life that's new and different? Like yesterday was such an adventurous day for us and we got to see new things and meet new people and have fun. Like what can you do that's out of your normal thing? Because if you just stay the same every single day and do the same thing every single day, you're not going to create these new things. And we have a really bad habit. I don't know if it's a bad habit, but every night we watch TV. Like that's kind of been our thing for years. And I think I saw my parents do it, and it's just kind of like at the end of the day, you just want to shut your brain off and watch TV. So we're binge watching Boston Legal right now because we're big James Spader fans. But like recently we don't always do that. And we go for a walk or we'll sit outside and talk or we'll do, or we've been out late. And so it's interesting to like, just not do the same freaking thing every day.
Yeah. Well, and that's a huge thing and I think with COVID, that's what's helped, people have had to shift around their normal routine and it's, but now I think people are into new routines. And so it's wonderful to,
try new things.
Find new things. And you never know what's going to happen. Like dolphins might just start jumping out of the water and things like that. And it so reminds me of, so like I said, I think I mentioned it was last Monday. I went out and snorkeled right in front of where I've been doing yoga for like 4 years and ended up, I saw these rocks. And at first when I saw the rocks, I just saw rocks. And then I'm like, oh, there's one little fish. Like, it's amazing how you don't see everything that's right in front of you because it's being filtered, right? I mean, I guess I've been told that if we could actually see everything that's in front of us, like we would go insane because it's just too much to take in. So we've got these filters that just allow things to come in as they do. And that's why the more you watch Joe, the more you get out of it or the more you watch us, the more you get out of us, right?
Us.
But then when I started looking, I'm like, oh, there's a little school of fish, and then oh, there's a bigger fish, and then I saw an octopus, and then that was really fun to play, because the octopus was kind of following me and then stopping and looking, and so it was really fun. But if I hadn't won just to go out there and look, I mean, it's a metaphor, right, for this kind of work. Yeah. Just to go and experience it and see what it's like. But then the more you do it, the more it gets revealed.
Well, and you had activated the field because you had the desire, you had watched the movie. So
the octopus teacher.
My friend, my gym friend, he's been having some issues with his roommate recently. And so we went for a run the other day and all of a sudden he's noticing all the apartment complexes around us. And he's like, oh, I never saw that before. Like he drives by them all the time.
Right.
Means to hone your focus. So like when all of a sudden fall in love with a certain car, and then you see that car everywhere. The cars are always there, but this is what you're opening up your line of focus. So the octopus was always there.
Yeah.
You just weren't in vibrational,
Well, I wasn't even in the water. And I wasn't in the, if I was in the water, if I was in the water, then I didn't have I didn't have a mask. And so that's that. So anyway, it took a lot of steps to get to where I actually saw the octopus.
I love it. And Mike is so excited. He just wants to snorkel with you so bad.
Yay. Yeah. I'm excited. And I'm learning to swim better because I've definitely had a fear of, you've
had an interesting belief system about swimming. I've heard you several times say I'm not a good swimmer, and I'm like, what?
I'm ready to let that go. But I did nearly drown here. That's why it's a little scary for me. But that was, when I was 14. So again, those old, so I think about swimming and then I get flooded with those old hormones that make me feel like I'm a bad swimmer, right? Because that's what happened in the past. So now I'm ready to let that go and create
when we let that emotion create, what happens is, and this happens with everything that we do, when we tell ourselves we're not good speakers, when we tell ourselves we're not good at that, or we don't know how to do something,
or we can't remember names.
Yes, we shut down the wisdom that can come from the non-physical, from our non-physical guides, because when we do that, we're all in the head. Right? We're all in the head and we're all bunched up and we're all anxious. So we actually shut down the infinite potential of information that could come to us. So when we step into, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna create from this. I'm a creator. I know how to create. So obviously,
and I can do anything.
Information or wisdom or people can come to me and assist me in a situation. So
I love it. Well, that's one of the big ones, because I feel like almost everyone I know is always like, oh, I'm so terrible at remembering names. I'm like, okay, so first of all, you're affirming that every time you say that. Yep. And secondly, what happened for me is I decided, like, no, I am so good at remembering names that I don't even have to remember, because my non-physical is going to supply it to me whenever I need it in the moment. And that is, I swear, what happens. But of course, when I say that, then the very next time I try to remember somebody's name, I get all like, oh my God, now I've put all this pressure on me. But if you just let it go and just ask your angels to drop in those names, it really,
well,
really.
And I love being an adult and saying, I am so sorry, I don't remember your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, refresh me on your name. I'm so sorry. And then they a lot of times will have forgotten my name. Most people don't forget my name.
Yeah, but most people, I know, same with me. But also even saying, you don't even have to say you're sorry. You're just like, oh wow, can you remind me of your name? I mean, there's no sorry. It's like most people have a hard time remembering names, and it's totally okay to do that. Or if someone calls you the wrong name.
The reason why we do that is because we're not really present when we're meeting people.
Yeah.
Like somebody will say their name and then 2 seconds later, I can't remember it. I wasn't present when I first met them. I was thinking about all other.
Well, and even being honest and saying, wow, I wasn't present when you just said your name. Can you repeat that? Just being honest.
No one's offended of that because everybody does it.
Oh, everyone does it. And everybody would like you to know their names. So why not? And I like to use people's names. It feels good to use people's names. And I know it and I like it. And I like it when people remember my name too. So,
so one more story I want to share before we go. Should we just go to YouTube maybe?
I think so. I think we should. Yeah. All right, guys, we love you here on, I don't think anybody.
Follow us.
No more. Yeah. Follow us. We may not be here much longer on YouTube. So be sure to.
Facebook. We'll be on YouTube.
Facebook. We are going to be here on YouTube. So we will put in the links to YouTube so you can go over there and subscribe. So
please do. We love you.
We love you.
If you do, email us at it's goldynandlisa@gmail, GoldynAndLisa@gmail, and we will send you an abundance recording that could possibly change your life.
And those directions are in every video that we have, so you can be sure to remember that.
We've been redundant about it.
Yes. Okay, we'll see you over on YouTube. Peace. Okay, so what's this other story you're going to tell?
One last story, because I'm so floored by the fact that Joe Dispenza owns 20 horses, because I have this.
Oh, I didn't know he owns 20 horses.
He owns 20 horses. So this is a cool story. So I have a dream of owning horses. Oftentimes when I'm doing my visualization, I'm actually riding horses. Not sure where it comes from. I grew up with not a ton of horses, but I had some around me. I've just always wanted a relationship with a horse. And I love riding. I just find it very, I don't know. It's just wonderful. So anyways, so he shares this story about, he lives in the Pacific Northwest. That's where his horses are. And he doesn't ride them all winter because it's gross out. So he said when he comes back in the spring, he has 7 stallions and he has relationships with them. So he'll hop on his stallion. And he said, as soon as he hops on the stallion goes and tries to run him into a wall, right? The stallion's mad at him for taking time off. So every single time he has to pull the reins and stop the stallion, and they have to take a minute. And so he does that every time until the stallion finally starts to take his lead. So he said, this is exactly what we do in our minds. When you are about to go into that, you have to stop. You have to breathe. You know, we just shared on YouTube in the very beginning of this video, we shared how to breathe, how to get that energy out of your body, how to reset your state of being. So that's what he did. And when he healed himself of this broken back that was laying on his vertebrae, that's what he did for 10 weeks. He went, every time he had a thought that went against his healing, he went back into meditation and went back into meditation and kept visualizing. And it was like a full-time job, but was it worth it? Hell yeah. They told him he wouldn't walk again because his vertebrae was going to calcify around his spinal cord. And he refused to believe them. He had doctors yelling at him and he refused to believe it. He said, I'm going to do this. Amazing. And he said, when I do this, I'm going to, and this is when he got into the neurosciences. He went back to school to study this stuff. And now he's got clinics where they heal people and just does amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause this has all been documented with research and
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And they've healed people of so many things. And this is the first time in my life that I really feel like I can heal my body from pain. I've had this neck stuff for years. I've been told it's genetic, which he said only like 5% of things are really genetic. It's really just a belief system and things, lifestyle things that we're taught. This is the first time that I've been on migraine medicine and I've been taking all of it and I almost run out before I can get more. And I have taken none in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. Fantastic. That's huge.
So it's amazing.
Well, and again, it's that belief system that you can heal yourself. I mean, it's a body and mind connection and we are powerful creators. So it's whatever you think, you know, and I mean, I have some friends that, you know, talk about their illnesses and I really just try to excuse myself when they start talking about that because it's just like, why do you want to just reaffirm that? I mean, it's like Joe, right? Every time he had a counter thought to his situation, he didn't entertain it. He's like, he pulled the reins back and said, nope, you know, he took control of his body and his mind and he shifted the energy and shifted his thoughts.
That's exactly right.
And healed himself.
So I've been taking this, so I've been wanting to heal my eyesight. My eyesight started to go a little bit. And as people believe, after 40, you have to wear glasses. I wore glasses until when I was 11, I got really strong glasses. And then I wore contacts until I was 31. And then I got eye surgery. So I am maintaining my eyesight. That has been my mantra. Well, I turned 48 and the next day I'm like, okay, right? But I refused to get glasses. So Lisa gave me this book, How to Heal Your Eyes. I forget the name of it. Read Without Glasses at Any Age. Well, this book, let me tell you, Lisa, there's a lot of activities in this book. And I've tried and I'm just like, this book is annoying. I even reached out to the author to see if she could like train me because I just don't want to read this book. It's just like, there's so much to do.
Right.
So I kind of fooled around with that a little bit, didn't really get very far with it. And I'm noticing even like my distance now is starting to, you know, suffer a little. So I started taking these eye vitamins. They're called Eye Health. And I get them through this company that I love. And I can see perfectly fine now. And I told Mike today, I've been taking them for like 3 weeks. And I told Mike, I know why these work. Because every day I have a clear intention that they are going to fix my eyes. And that's exactly what they've done. And that's what they do with sugar pills when they do placebos. Yeah, and that's what Joe talks about, placebos. And so, so I can see perfectly amazing now.
Fabulous.
I know.
That was great. I know.
I had that intention for a long time that I would keep my vision because I suffered for a long time.
Yeah. No, I know. My eyes just get clearer and clearer every day. I wake up and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like everything is just crystal clear. So it's perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got to work on Mike because he's had glasses for a few years now, and he used to have such good vision, and and if you wear glasses, unfortunately, it just continues to weaken the muscles.
Well, right. And that's what happened with Dr. Hawkins is somebody said, well, you've healed all these other things in your body. Why do you still wear glasses? And he never thought of it as like something he could heal. And then so he took his glasses off. He said for 6 weeks, he just trusted that he would be shown exactly what he needed
like
to
Mr.
see.
Magoo.
He was like Mr. Magoo, nearly like he had to follow the, the yellow and the white line on the road because that's all he could see as he drove. But then 6 weeks he woke up and he just had perfect vision. So.
And Rhonda Byrne did it too. The lady who wrote The Secret, she also cured her vision. So
wow.
And this has happened. This lady that actually wrote this book, she's cured like people in their 80s.
Wow.
So if it's possible, then I just don't feel like I have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get to it. I believe that we can create it. Like that's the old model, right? That working hard, that making it happen, the desperation. I have to do this, this, and this in order to get here. And
because then you allow yourself to have it if you've done all the work. And it also, to me, what it made it sound like to me is like if you don't do all those things, then it justifies why you're not getting the good vision because you didn't do all the work, right? But we don't need that. That's the old way. The new way is to just,
That was a light bulb. Did you see the light bulb?
Bing.
Yeah, so we don't need that stuff because we know how to create things energetically.
Yes. And that's what I love. And that's really bottom line. What Joe talks about is how we create energetically and not through hard work, not through, repetition and, just force and, trying to
and as
manipulate.
We let go, we allow the universe to co-create with us. And then all of these, intuitions come up and then, the rendezvous with the people and the opportunities.
Dolphins.
Stuff and the dolphins.
Octopus. That's so fun.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, we love you guys. Do you want to pull a card? I don't even know what we would pull a card about today. What do you think?
Well, how about just
we talked about so many things.
I know.
How about just just living more in joy? Like what do they say about living more in joy? I'm sorry, I don't have my cards.
Okay, no, so we'll pull. Do you want me to pull 3 cards or 1 card?
Yeah, we'll just do the whatever you're feeling.
All right, so living more.
Your little pillow back there. Is that like a
Isn't it sweet? It's a sunflower.
So cute.
I know. So the first card is surrender.
And there's the allowing.
Yep. Which is the blockage card because everybody's like holding on so tight and like,
we're all living in resistance, right? Yeah. We're living in resistance to what's going on in the world. We're living in resistance to what might happen in the world, right? We're trying to create the future by knowing what's going to happen. And that doesn't create the best case scenario usually, right?
No. Yeah. Well, that's it. I love.
Doesn't it create a lot of disappointment when you think you know what's going to happen?
For sure. And I love like the idea that like to me, that you've been wanting to go up to Malibu and beyond and all that. And then you just finally let it go, but then it just manifested as soon as you let it go. And that to me is one of the keys of the universe is by when you let go, the vacuum sucks it right in and it brings you right to it, And so again, I'm this whole guy thing. I don't even care. Like right now, I am so happy. I don't even want a man in my life right now. Like I am so loving like my own space, my own, doing whatever I want in the morning. I dance every morning. I, go to the beach when I want. I don't have to account to anybody. So I'm like, I'm not looking for anybody. I'm just loving my life, That's
awesome. That's awesome.
So anyway, but surrender, right? Surrender so then the action card, I love it, is courage.
What do you need to do?
Yeah. And that to me is
to step into, like, what have you been afraid to take action on?
Well, and I think the thing is, as you're listening to this right now, what you need to do, but it's too scary. Like, it's about quitting that job you hate or leaving that relationship that is not working and that you're just, hitting your head against the wall, or it's,
and
whatever.
I hate to say whatever it is that you're not letting go, it's just going to get worse.
It is.
That's the thing is, we call it nails in the coffin over here.
Yeah.
It's like when the universe will just show you more and more that it's time to change. And if you don't, eventually that change will just come.
Yeah, it'll come, but it's generally like in the hardest possible
It won't be
way.
your creation necessarily.
No, you will get your ass kicked is basically
Yes.
what ends up happening.
That is correct.
And the outcome, align, which is
align with your vision, align with the feelings, the relief, the emotion, that elevated emotion of your vision, of your dream, of your desire,
of your joy. Yeah, align. I mean, that's
time with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's really having that courage to step onto and it's about taking the first step, because that's the other thing is people think, oh, well, I need to know all the answers before I take my first step. No, you have to take your first step with the courage that you know that the universe has your back and will give you the second step only after you've taken the first step. And I think a lot of people miss that. They think they need to have it all figured out before they take their first
step. And that's how they stay stuck.
Yeah.
That's how they stay stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So one last thing I'll leave people with, when we were driving up yesterday and there was fog, there was that Abraham that I listened to a little while ago, and I did share this, but I want to share it again because I think it's so important. Something had happened and she was saying, you don't always want things to go exactly the way they were planned. And I thought that was so interesting with the fog, because it made the sun feel so much better. And it made us see how we are deliberate creators in just something so simple. So it's like, I didn't want to wake up to a sunny day. You know, we wanted to have that experience of looking outside and going, okay, it's a foggy day. We're doing this anyways. You know, we create it. So we're not afraid of anything. We're just going to do it. So you don't want everything to go as planned. And I think about that all the time now, because that unknown future.
I love it, because that's exactly what so you surrendered to the moment, even though it wasn't like your ideal. Like initially you thought maybe it wasn't your ideal, and you took the courage, you stepped into going anyway, even though, and then the alignment was off the effing charts. Like, you know, I mean, I've got chills as I say that, because that's there's an example right there of actually, you know, surrender to the moment, have the courage to take that first step, and then the alignment is just wow. And that's what it's been for you moving to California, for me moving to Hawaii.
Yep.
And we were scared out of our wits to do it, but we mustered our courage and moved forward, and we've been rewarded every step of the way.
Absolutely.
So we highly recommend it.
And we really learned how to do this through that whole process.
Exactly. And not to say that there aren't bumps along the way, because there are always bumps, but that's the whole point of life, right? We're here to experience those bumps. But this new way of dealing with those bumps is way better than, you know, getting lost in those bumps.
Yeah. Then you get in this element of life where it's like, it doesn't matter what happens. You don't have fear about things happening. So like that's Chris Prentice. Always forget the name of that book.
Yeah. The Zen and the Art of Happiness.
The Zen and the Art of Happiness. It's like, I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't even know what goodness is going to come from this. And when you live in that state, you shift. Love that book.
This is it, right? Yeah.
Learned so much, like so many crazy things would happen to him. And he would go, I don't know what's going to happen from this. I can't be sad about this because
what great thing is going to happen because of this? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even with my husband's death, I mean, it's funny. I was just at a birthday party on Saturday, and somebody had asked me about it. And I said, oh my God, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And they were kind of like, oh my God.
How dare you?
Okay. And then somebody else is like, oh my God, what was the best thing that ever happened to you? I said, oh, my husband dying. He's like, oh, and so I loved it, because both of them were completely like, I pulled the rug out from under them when I said that. And I said, no, but it woke me up to life. Of course, had he, you know, I didn't want him to die. It wasn't like I was, you know, hoping he would die, but that was the situation. And so I look at it now and I'm like, it totally woke me up to life. So it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
You understand that it was part of your spiritual evolution.
Absolutely.
So we don't question things then, and we don't get into any kind of regrets. We just, you know, live life from, well, that happened that way because it was supposed to, so that I could be here. And so you create from this moment.
Exactly. Just like when I was a 4-year-old and I knew that God had this intention that my mom, who raised me, who was the best mom in the whole world, you know, couldn't have a baby because she was meant to have me as her baby. So, you know, and just like I'm now reconnected with my birth mom, and my adopted mom's died. And so I feel like I won the lottery. I've got the two most amazing women that raised me, had birthed me, raised me, and now I'm back and able to have a great relationship with my birth mom. It's just been phenomenal.
That is so cool. That is
Yep.
really,
Just gets better and better and better.
yeah. And you could have stayed in a state of, of sadness
Oh
and,
yeah.
and feeling abandoned your whole life. And I think that's what happens with people. And that's why they create disease in their bodies, because they're not at ease. They've got this emotional field that they're addicted to, and they don't know how to break out of it. So
Yeah.
I am really excited to share that with people and have them share it with others.
Absolutely.
I did hear a really cool story. I promise this is the last one.
Oh my goodness. All right. One more.
I got to share this. There's a 14-year-old girl who actually has created a way to kill COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell
So
me
she
more.
figured out, so there's, and I guess she's been working on, since 8th grade, she was working on a thing for the flu. So COVID, just like the flu, has all these protein strands that come out of it. And she found a molecule that will destroy the protein strands so they can't actually connect to any others. So we are in a time of healing, and we are in a time of great change, and wonderful things are happening. So
that is awesome. I'm feeling very optimistic now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I always was, but
Yes.
even more so. It's fun.
I know. So things like that can happen at any moment.
At any moment. You just never know what's going to happen just around the corner.
And it's out. It was on the radio, so it's out.
Wow. Very cool.
It wasn't Facebook. It was the radio. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. So for sure it's real.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we love you. Be sure to subscribe and be sure to put the notification on. I think you click on the bell or something like that to make sure you know when we
never know when we're going to be here. It's going to be Monday sometime.
Exactly. And and we think we're moving full time to YouTube and off of Facebook. So let us know what you think about that, and we will talk to you next Monday.